Hello, my name is Alisa Blogo. I'm a personal branding strategist on LinkedIn. And in today's video, I'm going to explain a little bit more about the content creation on LinkedIn and why it matters. See, let's start from the very beginning. Why personal branding matters? Personal branding matters because it's closely related to the credibility. And why credibility matters? It matters because if you are a service-oriented professional, in order to sell your services, you need to have credibility. Or people need to trust you. People need to trust that you will deliver your services and that they will be satisfied with your work. So in order to build that credibility, it's crucial to build a strong personal brand. And a big part of it is a thought leadership. And thought leadership is closely related to the content creation. So, which brings us to the main reason why content creation is relevant. It's relevant because by creating content, you are showcasing yourself as a thought leader in your industry because you will be creating content relevant to your industry. As a thought leader in your industry, you will get that credibility. And by having credibility and by being a thought leader in your industry, you will start building your personal brand. Now that we know why personal branding, thought leadership, and content creation matters and how are they related to each other, let's move on with the content creation. I'm talking about LinkedIn specifically, as LinkedIn is the most credible platform out there for creating personal brand when it comes to the entrepreneurs or service providers, any other service-oriented professionals, consultants, coaches, anybody who's providing services online. So now that you know why it matters and why you should start creating content, let me show you how to do it. The first step should be, for sure, to establish your personal brand. So in establishing your personal brand, first, you would need to determine who you really are and how do you want to present yourself publicly. And not to get confused, we already have all of us personal brand anyway, but it's something manageable. And you actually choose what to showcase to others. Because all of us, we have our stories, our personal stories, our experiences, and we have a lot of talents. Now, the point is that you would need to focus. So you would need to choose out of your many talents. The best option is to choose one, and out of the many possible audiences or potential clients, the best option is to choose one. So in that way, you would be actually niching out. You would be choosing your niche or niche. So I went through this experience myself, and many of my clients did too. And I saw many other people, and I strongly believe that we all go through the same process. And that is that we are actually afraid to choose a niche because we have a feeling that we are missing out on something. When it comes to choosing the niche in your industry, let's say if we are talking about marketing, then within the marketing there is traditional marketing and digital marketing. And within digital marketing, there are many parts of digital marketing. There is email marketing, there is social media marketing, there is SEO, there is blogging, podcasting, so many things. There is also personal branding. So if you choose to do all of this, to provide all of these services, then you didn't really choose a niche. It would be okay if you would be a marketing agency and then you have 10 different people and these 10 different people are doing 10 different things. Then it's okay because they are all specialized in their own specific field of work. However, if you are a solopreneur, a service provider, and you want to position yourself as somebody who knows all of these fields, then it's really not the right approach. So the right approach would be to have a focus, to choose out of these many options only one and to focus on it. The same thing applies on your clientele, on your potential clientele, when you're choosing your clientele. So you could say that, for example, if you have that that kind of mindset that tells you, oh, I am missing out if I focus only on one type of clientele, then probably you're not right, because you'll actually gain more if you focus on certain targeted audience. So for example, somebody is focusing on targeted audience, let's say on lawyers in general, and then somebody else is focusing only on, let's say, business lawyers. Or when we are talking about insurance, let's say somebody is focusing on insurance in general, and somebody else is focusing only on insurance for business owners. So he has a focus, and it's much easier to reach that targeted audience. In that case, it's much easier to understand their pain points and then accordingly to start creating content and to start reaching out to this type of audience. And by creating content, their clientele will start reaching out to them as well. Which brings us to the reason why we are creating content. So one thing is because we want to position ourselves as thought leaders in our industry, so we want to start creating content that brings value to the targeted audience and that is related to our field of work, our industry. And the other reason is the lead generation. Actually, in this way, we will start receiving client requests ourselves. So the clients will start reaching out to us, and not only clients, many other opportunities like guest posting or invitations for podcasts, for interviews, collaborations, business partnerships, and similar. So the first step in creating content would be determining the field of work or specific niche that you will focus on, or specific targeted clientele that you will focus on. And then accordingly, you will start creating content that will provide value to this type of audience. When you start creating that content, let's take a look at one of my posts. Let's say this post here, which has over 41,000 views and which was published 6 days ago. As I mentioned, create type of content that will bring value to the targeted audience, that will be addressed to the targeted audience, the one which will have certain call to action. So as you can see, this call to action is usually at the end of the post or content that you have created. So So let's take a look at other parts of this post. So there is an introduction, like an opening line in this post. It says, the rising trend of personal branding is the key to success in many aspects. And then it explains, no matter whether you are a consultant, coach, a service-oriented professional, sales professional, a job seeker, or a student, a strong personal brand leads to credibility. Credibility leads to doing business together, closing on prospects, improving lead generation, landing a job. These are all the reasons why somebody would like to develop their personal brand. And then there is a call to action. Read more about personal branding, and you and your company you work for can benefit from it in my recent article. And then you will choose, so there is a call to action to email me or to read this article, and you will choose certain hashtags. Now these hashtags should be related to the post content, and it should be also related to your targeted audience. So in this case, the content is about personal branding, but it is intended for the management and sales. So people who are on managerial positions or executive positions, or who are working in B2B marketing field or sales field, they might be interested in this because it's very relevant for sales professionals as well to start building their personal brand. Really, sales process requires 10 to 12 touch points with the buyer in order for the buyer to trust the company or the service provider and to buy from them. So in this case, when you're creating content, you have already decreased this process to the 5 to 6 touch points, because you are creating a connection with the buyer, you are addressing your posted buyer, and then once the buyer sees all the engagement that you got on this post and the number of views you got, and what other people think about this post, then they will see that other people, that you are very well connected with others, first of all, that other people have appreciation for you and for your posts, and that they agree about the tips that you have provided to them, that they have found the value in your post, and that some of them are even your clients. So this is the best word of mouth, actually. And the next move is after they keep seeing your posts, like this might be the first touch point with them, but they keep seeing your posts on LinkedIn. They keep seeing engagement, good engagement on your posts, and they see what other people think about it. Then you kind of build the rapport more easily with that person. So this potential client sees 5 times your different posts, and then he already feels like he knows you, and he feels like he can trust you. He feels like you have the credibility necessary for delivering these services. He feels that you are capable of doing it, and that you will provide value. So now your sales process doesn't really last that long. It has been accelerated. You have already created some kind of bond and trust with the buyer, and the buyer might start reaching out to you. This is actually something that happens to me, and it happens to many of my clients and many of other content creators on LinkedIn who are providing different kinds of services. It's important because of the increased visibility of your own personal brand and of your company brand as well. It's important because of the recognizability. You start to be a recognizable person there, and it's important because of the credibility as well, of course. Now that you have built a kind of rapport with your potential buyer, and this buyer reaches out to you, then you are only left with a couple of steps, which is scheduling a meeting. So moving this connection from online to offline, which is scheduling a call, and in many cases it's very easy because the client has already reached out to you. But if they've already reached out to you, that means that they are interested in your services. So you simply either send them a scheduling link, or you exchange a couple of messages on your LinkedIn profile and agree about that online meeting, whether it's a Zoom call or it's a phone call or WhatsApp call, doesn't really matter, but it's an introductory call and also in many cases a closing call as well, because at the end of the call, so actually the buyer is calling you because the buyer is interested in your services. He just wants to reassure himself about your capabilities to deliver the service and what would be the end result, how he could benefit from it. So after you explain that in a phone call or Zoom call, that of course in that call you will be providing a lot of value to the client. So the client will be, for that client, that would be perfectly enough to make a decision even on that phone call. So at the end of the call, your client will be ready to buy. And this is something that happens to me, this is something that happens to others, and it really works. So basically in this video I've explained how you create lead generation on LinkedIn. Follow my other tips on YouTube, or reach out to me if you would like to work with me directly, so we can agree about one-on-one session, or if you're interested to start working on it by yourself, then take a look at some of my other videos on YouTube as well as on my LinkedIn profile, and learn more about it, and step by step you'll get closer to it and you will reach that end goal. As you can see in this post, how does a strong personal brand helps you sell more? It basically tells the same story that I've just explained. The sales process consists of at least 10 to 12 touch points between a company consultant and the buyer prior the buyer makes the buying decision. This process can be reduced to 5 to 6 touch points if you have a strong personal brand. Why? Simply because you already have the credibility and the buyer already trusts you. Your strong online presence, thought leadership portrayed in your content, your previous experience, your client testimonials and reviews, it is all a part of your personal brand that helped you gain the credibility. With credibility, building a rapport and relationship with your clients and or buyers is much easier. If you haven't already done so, now is the perfect timing to focus on portraying yourself to the world around you. People want to hear your story. Your story will help you connect with your potential clients much faster and in an easier way. Tell your story. I would love to hear that. Now, as you see, this post had more than 10,000 views, and this was all organic engagement on my LinkedIn post. And can you imagine how many of these 10,000 views, how many of these people have reached out to me, and how many deals did I close, or could I potentially close only with one post? See, it all matters. Start creating content on LinkedIn, don't get discouraged, and you will succeed.